A Lady and Her Gentleman. This movie is showing on Uche Montana TV. A recap of this movie talks about a young lady who was pushed into prostitution due to the debt her father was owing. So she was forced into this job because she had to pay all the debt her father was owing. But there came a gentleman who helped rescue her from this job after losing her brother and her father. This is what this movie is about. What I like about this movie, the storyline, guys. Let's start with that. This is a beautiful story, beautifully written and beautifully acted. Very interesting. I have actually seen this storyline before. If you watch the movie acted by Maurice Sam and Sonia Uche, where Sonia Uche was the prostitute, and she kind of helped Maurice Sam along the way solve his car problem, and Maurice Sam helped her out of that business. So it's practically the same way, but this one is more intense, and a lot went into the production, which makes it a stellar movie. So storyline is pretty decent and pretty interesting. You definitely love it, and the love interest and the drama, the intense suspense along the way. This is really a beautiful story. I really enjoyed the storyline and how it was acted and written. So this was a good one. Let's talk cast. Let's start with Clinton Joshua. In this movie, he was playing the virgin, innocent, naive boyfriend who fell in love with a stripper or an escort. So you can just imagine him in his element. Like, this is what he does. He normally doesn't have or play the lovey chemistry, kissing, touching thing in his movie. He has a rule. He doesn't kiss in movie. So this was like a perfect script for him. And he was a virgin. So you can just imagine that him being in his element, he will put out, the basic or the normal performances he does in all of his movies. So he was pretty decent in acting this movie, and he was an okay character for me. Then we talk about Uche Montana, the main character. As usual, she was fantastic. Uche Montana can act. I'm sure you guys know that this is not the first time I'm praising her when she puts on a good performance in a movie. So yes, she can act when she wants to, and when she doesn't, you can also see that as well. This was a beautiful performance she put up in this movie. The way she was able to convey emotion. You could feel her pain in this movie. You could feel how dramatic she was in this movie. You could see how she conveyed that pain to her audience, and that is how a beautiful and good actor should relate as well as entertaining their viewers. So this Uche Montana performance in A Lady and Her Gentleman, this was really a beautiful act. Uche, kudos to you. You did a massive one on this movie. Her emotional or chemistry kind of connection, she tried to convey that as well with Clinton Joshua was okay, was decent. I like that as well. Moving on to the guy that played, was it Jason or Masid? I don't know, I forgot his name. He was one of my best actors in this movie. This guy was really good. It was as if he was just natural. He was just acting as if he wasn't on set, he wasn't on camera, or he wasn't filming. Like, he was just relaxed, delivering his performance, and I love it so much. This guy, the way he was able to attack, convey jokes, the jokes were just landing and you would just be laughing. This guy was interesting. Kudos to the scriptwriter of this movie. This guy was really good. I really want to see him more in movies. This is actually the first time I'm seeing him, and surprisingly, he was able to hook me to his performance in this movie. Kudos to him. Whoever casted him, that's Uchenna Bona, but please, I want to see him in another performance. Let me see before I really give my authentic view about him. But in this movie, he nailed his role. One of the jokes that I really picked up was when he was suspecting that Clinton is from the Khaled family, and he was like, "Are you sure? Do you have feelings?" And he was like, "Okay, then I'm safe." That was when I was like, if you are not smart, some of his jokes you'll not get it. And I really appreciate him for delivering jokes like that, and also appreciate the scriptwriter for this movie. So that was really good. This guy can really act, and he was a natural in this movie. Next actor I want to appreciate is Pearl Shim. Ooh, this girl, she has actually improved. If you've watched my previous reviews that I've done of this girl, I was like, not really sure. But in the last 2 weeks of the movie that she has, featured, this girl can art. She's improving. She has improved actually. And in this movie, she did not even have a lot to say. She was not even saying much. And just her facial expression of how intense she was conveying the emotions, the drama, the pain she was going through. Oh, and the way they, gave her that makeup look with the hair and so, look, everything was just on point. The girl can Pershim, kudos to you, girl. You are doing the work. I really can't wait to see what you have for us in the future. She did a very good job in this movie. Then we talk about the Madame of the Betrothed. This woman. This woman was also very fantastic. I really enjoyed her. She was self-centered. She's like, you know what? Whether you are dying or not, as far as you are alive and you are breathing, you are going to work. Customers are waiting. It's not because of you my business will collapse. This woman was in her element. And I didn't even know that she had a tattoo, because I know most of the roles she plays for Uche Bunabo, she's always in, Boo, and she's always playing the motherly role. So I didn't know she had tattoos, or they did a tattoo as makeup. She represented herself very well with the low cut and as well as the wig. She did really well in this movie, and I enjoyed her character as well. Then we talk about the lady that played Uche Montana friend in the business. That girl, she's not new to Uche Bunabo movie, so I really appreciate her as well. I'm sure she's the one that gave Esther the name Extra, so that she was really good as well. I enjoyed her. The wicked man, Mr. Tayo, I forgot his name. He was also a decent actor. That was an okay performance in this movie. Pretty much everybody in this movie, brought something very important to this movie, and everybody was working for their pay in this movie. And I'm like, wow, people can actually put in the best in movies for YouTube, and they just decide not to. And I'm like, okay. I think a lot went into this movie, and with the cast in this movie, I really appreciate all of them. Everybody was doing something. Everybody was important. Like, even those who did not speak at all, everybody was just important. You could just feel that this was a production. So coming to cast, everyone was really good in this movie. I really like all of that, and those are the characters I really enjoyed in this movie. Another thing I like about this movie is the translation. They were speaking Pidgin, they were speaking Hausa, local dialect, so they were translating that. This was really a good thing to do, considering that it's not everybody that can understand the Pidgin, or it's not everybody that can understand Hausa. So I really love that in this movie. The exchange of the Hausa speaking between him and the Oga Patapata, I'm like, okay, this was nice. It wasn't looking as if he was the only one speaking. And also some scenes, Clinton was also responding in Hausa. I'm like, okay, this had a lot of thinking process to put everything together. So like scriptwriters, you guys did well. Another thing I like about this movie is location. Oh, that was an amazing one. Location, they actually used a sport or a club for the business for the escorts, and that was really nice. The club scenes, we were seeing a lot of things happening in the club. You've been to the club, or even straight club, you will know that this is exactly how it is, and that was really nice. Then we talk about, the other houses. Then Uche's father's house, that was also a pretty decent place as well. And of course, where the ladies were lodging, pretty decent guys. Kudos to Uche Montana, she did a good one with the location for this movie. The thing I like about this movie is costume. Costume wise, I'm talking about Uche Montana, the ladies, that's the escort, and then the madam of the place. Pretty much, the escorts cast, they had pretty good costume, as well as the man also had pretty good costume. So a lot of thinking and a lot of thought was brought into this production. So costume was pretty decent, which I really appreciate for this movie. And in general, what I like about this movie is that Uche Montana put a lot into making sure this is an actual production. A lot was put into this movie, a lot of cast members, we had a lot of people, and like I said earlier on, everybody in this movie was needed. Everybody was in character. Everybody was doing something important to this production, and I really like that a lot. You know, I was just tired of seeing even an escort. We saw more than 10 people. We saw the movement of all the escorts or the ladies, and we saw that, oh, this is like a whole thing that was going on. This movie is an actual production. This is what we are talking about. Like when we say give us something good, this is what we are talking about. So Uche Montana, this was a good one. I really liked that you were able to put us something good like this. It's been a minute, it's been a while. You know, the previous reviews I did, I really bombasted her project. So this was a good movie. If you haven't watched A Lady and Her Gentleman, do well to watch. It's showing on Uche Montana TV. Now, moving on to what I do not like about this movie. I'll start with cinematography. Yes. The cinematography was a huge problem for me in this movie, which I do not like about this movie. It had this Uchenna Bonabo, cinematography theme going on, which of course Uchenna Bonabo did casting. He was one of the producers of this movie, so definitely Montana used Uchenna Bonabo's crew for this production. I can't blame them. They are all in a circle. So yeah, so cinematography, I do not like it. When you watch this movie, too many dark scenes, even during the day, or even scenes that are supposed to be bright were having dark scenes. Even the night shoots, or even the dark scenes like the club where they were fighting, a lot was going on and we could not see anything. Like, it was too dark. Pretty much this movie was too dark in most of the scenes, so that was a huge problem for me. I do not like that at all. Then I want to talk about the length. Obviously this movie is long, 2 hours 30 minutes but it's worth it, guys. It's pretty long. Obviously, you guys know I do not like long movies. That is an issue for me, even though it's worth it, but it is still very long. Then I want to talk about costume. Costume wise, I'm talking about Clinton Joshua's costume. I don't even know what he was wearing in this movie. I'm like, a rich boy who is very young, in his 20s, early 20s. I mean, you're a virgin doesn't mean you lack fashion sense. And his costume was a big issue. The only costume that I saw that was decent was when he went to the club. One of those scenes, aside that, his other everything about his costume was just zero. And those are the 3 things I do not like about this movie: the length, super long, as well as cinematography, too dark. We needed more lighting for this movie. This would have elevated the movie more. Cinematography was a huge problem. Please, next time, make sure that your lighting is good. This movie had too many dark scenes, black scenes for that matter, and that was not good. Lighting was a problem. For me, that's something I do not like. Then also, of course, the costume of Clinton Joshua. I do not like his costume. That's it. And that notwithstanding, this was a very good movie. This was a decent movie. This is an actual production. Least I forget to mention that this movie was also posted in the right frame size. Yes, so this was a correct size that they posted this movie. I'm like, it'd be like everybody is coming back to their senses now, and I'm really happy that everybody is coming back now that we are working on the size. Very soon we should be working on the lighting, the focusing, of course, cinematography in general. We should work on that as well. But yeah, this movie was posted in the right frame size. I really like that. And Uche Montana, you did a big one on this. And on that note, I'll be rating this movie a 8/10. Trust me, this is a good movie. If you haven't seen A Lady and Her Gentleman, kindly do so, showing on Uche Montana TV. Thank you so much for watching this review. I'll see you all in my next movie review.